over the many years that I've taught this game, which is now approaching almost 22 years, and the thousands upon thousands upon thousands of swing reviews that I've done for you at home, I will tell you with a very large amount of confidence that there is a good group of people watching this video right now that have no idea just how much speed and control their trail arm and trail wrist and trail shoulder is costing their golf swing. It will blow your mind to know just how much you're giving up. I don't think there's been a day that goes by in the world of golf instruction where I haven't tested a student with what I'm about to test you on before you jump into the drill. And you can do this with any golf club in your bag. So grab out any club over there and grab a speed radar, or you could just use your brain dyno, if you will. And I want you to go out and make a really good golf swing that's comparable to what you do on the golf course. Just make one swing. And I want you to think about where you felt the club was moving its fastest. Think about that whoosh sound that you hear. Then what I want you to do is I want you to do the exact same thing. But the only difference is I want you to have your trail hand flying off the golf club at or before the point of contact. And I want you to kind of think about what you just felt and what you just heard. A large portion of you are going to hear the club accelerate. You're going to hear a louder whoosh sound. You're going to feel kind of this out of control sort of speed that just came out of your golf swing. Probably more speed than you even knew how to handle. And the reason why that feels faster to you is because when you start to swing the golf club and the right hand and right arm or the right shoulder function improperly at any point in your downswing, you're going to have speed loss. If you have a trail shoulder or trail arm or trail wrist function that's working through the point of contact into that post-impact position where you're trying to push the club through, you're slowing the club down and you're costing yourself an immense amount of control. Oh yeah, remember to make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the like button, and if you have any questions or comments on today's video, or you want to post up in the comments below what sort of speed gains you got from today's drill, then post that up below. We love talking golf. Let's get back to work. All right, so here we are at step number 1, which is more or less the most critical step in this drill, and it's a part of the drill that you can always come back to when you start having a release that just kind of feels a little bit off. Now, the first thing I want you to understand is to know exactly what your trail arm and shoulders functions are going to be in the golf swing. In the backswing, your trail arm is simply just going to elevate, it's going to flex, and your wrist is going to set and rotate ever so slightly. That's the only functions that it brings to the table. And in the downswing, it's doing the exact opposite. Now, if you think about what the body is doing inside of that movement, your body is going through this really big loading process and unloading process at the same time. And as you get up to the top of the swing and you get ready to unload, you have this angle between the forearm and the bicep, and this angle at the wrist as well, which we know that a bulk of your club head speed is going to come from that lag angle that you have down in front of your body, which is largely in part with what you have in your wrist. You're going to make up almost 2/3 of your club head speed in this little small space. 2/3. If you think about what I just gave you there for information, if my arm is moving up and it's just de-elevating on the way down, then what I want you to think about is that as your body is going through that unload phase, okay, it's shifting and it's rotating really hard, and then it's going to slow down. At the end of that slowdown, your arm is going to start to straighten. Your wrist is going to start to uncock. All of this movement actually starts to happen auto-magically for you. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and get a golf ball down on the ground and take your setup. I want you to take your lead hand and I want you to put it across your chest here, so you're touching your trail shoulder here. I want you to elevate your arm slightly, so the trail arm is just going to elevate, flex it, set your wrist just a little bit, and turn back ever so slightly. Now from here, all I want you to do is I want you to shift your hips over to your lead side, and I want you to turn open, and I want you to let your arm extend, but I want you to keep this trail shoulder in a down and depressed position. The trail shoulder and the position that it's in is what's actually going to help you transfer the speed from the body. The scapula serves as that linkage. So you want the shoulder to be in a down and depressed position. You want the elbow to be turned in towards the rib cage, and you want your trail wrist to still be in extension. When I say extension, that's just basically these knuckles being back in behind these wrist bones. The opposite would be flexion. I want you to be able to get your arm back to impact in those 3 positions. We don't want to be ramrod straight, we just want to be in a relaxed position. Trail shoulder down, trail elbow turned in towards the body, trail wrist still in extension. And we're going to do about 10 to 15 reps just like this. So elevate, flex, turn, shift, and come right back to impact. Yes, I want you to have this piece here the shoulder down, and the elbow turned in every single rep. If you notice that it's not right, fix it. Do more reps. If you can do that proficiently for about 15 reps or so, then we want to bring the golf club back in and start moving through this drill efficiently. As I get to the latter part of step number 1, what we're going to do is we're going to start making some small golf swings here. But we're going to make sure that our trail hand comes off the golf club where the point of contact would be, and that we still maintain those positions, and we're letting the lead arm just swing on through. Now, what I would do to get yourself ready to handle business here is I would take your setup and I would make sure that you've got a bulk of your pressure kind of centered around these back 3 fingers in your left hand. Okay, I don't want you squeezing the life out of it, just keep it chill, okay? On a scale from 1 to 10, try to think about between a 2 and 4 on your grip pressure. Now, to get things warmed up and to get ready for the trail hand to come on there, do some simple little left arm only swings just like this. Not big swings where you're trying to swing, you know, up around full speed and pulling it past your body, but just some hip high to hip high swings. And make sure that your wrist and forearm can rotate from a position that's out in front of you to a position that's behind you. Okay, if you can do that, then you're ready to start having the trail hand come on the club and start adding some assistance to it. So what I want you to do now is take your setup, bring the trail hand back to it, okay? And I want you just to go ahead and make a small backswing. So we're gonna shift and turn, so very much like we were just rehearsing. Now, as I start to shift and turn my hips, I'm still gonna have my arm come off the club right here. If I stopped my arm right here, my shoulder line should be perfectly square. My arm continued on the lead side of my body here. You saw it kind of swing past the golf ball. So we're gonna do a bunch of swings here just to get the feel for this before we start ramping it up and teaching you how to move the shoulder through impact properly. Okay? So, okay, notice how I'm not worried about where the club is going. I'm just worried about keeping that left arm tension free. Okay, I'm hitting my checkpoints. That's the most important piece, is you want to get really good at this first before we start making it more realistic. What we're going to be doing in step number 2 is we're going to be working kind of in that same length swing, but we're going to be moving through impact and getting to a perfect post-impact position. Now, a post-impact position really is just when the hands and arms are in this kind of extended position just outside my lead thigh. The club shaft is just short of parallel to the ground with the club just out in front of the hands. That's what a post-impact position really is. Now, to get there, and I know a lot of you probably don't look like that, is actually much easier than you might think. What we really want to do is just train the trail shoulder, what it should be feeling as the arms start to pass in front. Now, you're going to not think about the arm or the wrist function when this starts to happen. Why? Well, because we've already got the speed and the control out of the system down here. This trail shoulder function that I'm going to teach you is what's adding stability to your path and to the club face as it makes its way through the point of contact. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the golf club and we're going to isolate it out of here for a second. I want you to go ahead and do exactly what we just did in step number 1. So I want you to elevate the arm and flex it. Turn back. I want you to shift. Come back to impact. Make sure the trail shoulder's down, elbows in towards the body. Wrist is still extended. Now, to get my arm over into that extended position, I want you to keep your head back right where it is. And I want you to take this trail shoulder in that down and depressed position, and I want you to turn it underneath your chin and extend your arm out like you're feeling like you're reaching down the target line. Okay? So all we did to get the arm and the wrist to this position was we got to impact, we turned the shoulder underneath to help us extend the arm. Notice that I didn't say anything about the wrist. I didn't tell you to swing the arm in that direction. I just told you to turn the shoulder underneath your chin. What that's doing is it's teaching you side bend. It's teaching you how to steepen the shoulder plane a little bit to be able to create that movement. So what I want you to do is I want you to do another 10 to 15 reps with no golf club, but instead of stopping at impact, I want you to think about taking that trail shoulder underneath and just stopping in the post-impact position. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, elevate, flex, turn back. So I'm working through impact, trail shoulder works underneath. Just continue to do good quality reps. So you're getting connected to the 3 positions at impact, and now you're moving the shoulder through it. Okay, work at a pace that you feel like you're being 100% accurate. Notice how I'm keeping the head back and turning that shoulder underneath the chin. Do not let the head move. If you can do that, let's just say 15, 20 reps, you feel a good connection to it, then bring the golf club back in. We're gonna do the exact same thing. But what I want you to remember is that now that the club is gonna be swinging through impact, there's going to be some momentum and inertia in the club head that's gonna be forcing the wrist to start to function for you. It's gonna force the wrist to uncock, and it's gonna allow the wrist to move from that extended position to flexion. I don't want you to fight that off. I want you just to keep the grip pressure light and let the club do its thing. So let's go ahead and do a good 15 reps here, and then we can actually start hitting golf balls in this step as well. So we can set it. So as I get down in front of me, I'm gonna have my elbow, the shoulder, and the wrist in the right spot, turning the shoulder underneath, and letting the club swing to that post-impact position. As I get further into my reps, I'm going to try to go a little bit faster each time. Now in this step, our goal is not to hit the ball far. Our goal is to hit the golf ball with some efficiency, to make sure that we've got good control of things. And then in the final step, I'm going to give you a little burst of speed. So here's what we're going to look like. We're going to start out with smaller swings. We're a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, so I'm going to be thinking about the shoulder staying down, the elbow staying in, and the wrist staying into extension. And I'm going to keep the tension levels low and turn that shoulder underneath. So you can hear how solid that contact was. And that went much longer than I probably wanted it to on a baby golf swing. But that's how I got speed out of the system, by doing as little as I possibly could with the shoulder and the arm. I'm letting it do its thing. I'm letting it become that conduit that I talked about early on. Okay. Shoulder, elbow, wrist. Let the shoulder work underneath as the tension comes out. Okay. Another good sounding golf shot with good compression to it. And you're going to see that as I go through this in my practice session, I'm going to get a little bit longer and a little bit faster as a result of that. All right, so now this third and final step is a little bit on the controversial side. And the reason why I say that is because most of you are going to get a whole lot of good success by just going to do more of step number 2. But the reality is that we need to have some activation from this arm if we want to get the maximum speed out of the system. So we can take the trail arm and start working on creating a throwing motion down at the golf ball. But I don't want you to sacrifice the shoulders position, the elbow position, or the wrist position when you do this. I want you to also make sure that when you do it, the timing of it's right. So what I would probably suggest that you do for the first few practice reps is when you start to make downswings, I want you to throw the club head down here, but land in those spots that we were working on in step number 1, just to back check the quality of them. And then you can start letting the hand and the shoulder kind of follow along with it on the way through. So now you're adding a little bit of a thrust by adding in a throwing motion of the club head. You want to feel the club head getting thrown down at the ball with those 3 key positions still staying intact. So it's going to look like this. Okay. If I felt like I got some good command of it, now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm just going to hang on to it on the way through. Okay. So I can feel that little burst in speed down there. Let's see what we get when we make a golf shot here. Wow. Really good contact right out of the center of the face. That's what I'm looking for, is I now have the trail side of my body, the more dominant side of my body, actually helping my golf swing instead of costing me speed and control. And if at any point I know that it's causing me a path issue or a face angle issue, go back and learn step 1. Do that over and over and over again. Bring the golf club in, let it respond to those movements. Get to step number 2, train the trail shoulder on how it's going to support the arm post-impact. And then when you get to step 3 and you put the icing on the cake, I guarantee it, every single one of you can go down in the comments below and let me know exactly what you saw for a speed increase. We'll see you guys in the next video.